We're talking about tonight with Dr. Vin Gupta, pulmonologist and MSNOW senior medical analyst. Thanks for joining us, doctor.
Good evening, Joyce. Great to be here.
Okay, let's just start with the why. Why are some of the most dangerous cardiovascular symptoms ones that we don't see or choose to ignore?
Well, Joyce, this is why cardiovascular conditions are the biggest killers because we don't feel them until it's unfortunately too late. High blood pressure doesn't necessarily hurt. High cholesterol you can't feel. And high blood pressure, for all our viewers, the biggest risk factor for death and disability across the world and in the United States. And here's why. Very few people get screened for them because it's asymptomatic until, again, it's too late, until you end up in a hospital with a stroke or a heart attack. And that's what's really hard here.
So what should we be paying attention to as we age, along with blood pressure, obviously?
So I recommend everybody, all my patients, to make sure, and this really dates to when you're 18 on up, but let's be honest, I think when you're younger, you feel immortal, you don't really think about your health as much. As we age, it starts to become a part of our daily life or daily consciousness. I think about your numbers, your blood pressure, your heart rate. If you have diabetes or a family history of diabetes, what's your morning blood sugar, your fasting blood sugar? Have a sense of that at least annually. Get that screen with your primary care provider. We're going to be talking about tools later. Sometimes people are getting these minute to minute, Joyce. We'll talk about that. But know your numbers, and more equally important, if not more importantly, know changes to your functional status. If doing something like walking up the stairs in your home or walking up a hill on your morning walk was previously okay, and now you're getting winded. Now you're not able to do your routine physical activity the way you used to. Those changes in your functional status, pay attention to that. Your body is telling you something. It's telling you that something is wrong, and that's what it can be a sign of something that's wrong as you're aging.
And what is considered a normal part of aging versus what we should flag for our doctor?
Well, so I like to think about sometimes we can lose muscle mass, we can lose bone density. These things happen as we age, and it's a normal part of aging. Usually, you have to have a test to tell you that you're losing bone density. You might feel the loss of muscle mass. Cognitively, we might feel a step slower. These are normal parts of aging. What is different, and what I would encourage everybody to be on the lookout for, are dramatic changes in how you feel. So if you're feeling palpitations, one day you didn't feel it, the next day you did. If you're noticing over the course of 1 week a change in your functional status, Joyce, something is fundamentally different about your morning workout or your morning walk, those quick, abrupt changes in your functional ability to do, just function, to walk, to activities of daily living, that's the difference between healthy aging and something that should be checked out.
And of course, more and more we're seeing a focus on preventative healthcare. Where is the field headed, and what are some of the monitoring devices you would recommend?
So, and Joyce, this is where I think things are getting so interesting, and hopefully this is going to be a boon for everybody, not just those that can afford interesting tools in their home. But we're moving from spot checking your blood pressure once in your primary care provider's office once a year to continuous monitoring. We'll talk about these devices, but there's so many new tools out there, some of them covered by your insurance, if you have insurance, that allows you to get a sense of how your body is functioning and how your body's vital signs change over the course of a 24-hour period. And so that data is really important if we utilize it, if we understand how to utilize it, how to look at it, really, really critically important.
I have a smartwatch, and so I can check my heart rate and other things. What are some of the devices you would recommend?
So I think starting out with the basics, 60 million people, I was thinking about what number to give you, Joyce. 60 million people, it's estimated, have stage 2 hypertension, meaning a high top number for their blood pressure that can predispose to strokes and heart attacks, and they don't even know it. It's undiagnosed. So start with the basics. That blood pressure cuff at home, if you're willing, can be about $40 online, FDA cleared. You want to start with the basics. A weight scale. Again, start with the basics. But now we're moving into an interesting space. Again, I think the next 5 to 10 years are going to look a lot different where we're talking about passive monitoring. There's a company out there called Kasana that is doing something really interesting with a toilet seat where you can have a connected toilet seat. Just giving this as one example where somebody can sit on it, get, as part of their daily routines, and get key monitors and key vital sign measures on their blood pressure, on their heart rate, on other key cardiovascular parameters that can help them get a sense of their body. So that's one different piece here as we're moving into this next generation of tools. Passive monitoring. Of course, people have their favorite fitness tracker. I would recommend somebody to have their favorite fitness tracker. Sometimes their insurance company might cover a fitness tracker. So you can get a sense of, again, your aerobic activity, how much are you tracking in terms of footsteps day over day, hitting your goals, really important. And then lastly, those same trackers do heart rate monitoring, Joyce. Critical. I think changes in heart rate and your resting heart rate tells a lot about your body, how it's responding to stress, how it's improving with conditioning, maybe how it's declining with deconditioning. So that resting heart rate trend is really important.
So many devices, so many options for people. Dr. Vin Gupta, we so appreciate you. Thanks for joining us tonight.